Karen's right here. I was preaching work and clean, and then I left Blue Pills behind. Like, what a jerk. For Josh to come back here and tell you guys all about Castle and Key. It really is such a pleasure to work with these guys. We've had such good experiences. I know I've been twice to Castle and Key now, and both times that I've been, not only have I got to tour the grounds, see how awesome, I mean, it's one of the most beautiful places on the face of the planet. There's a little creek that rolls right behind the distillery, and it's an amazing place to be. Just really great time every time that we're there, and I mean, a lot of good memories there. Brett Connors has put up with us a couple of times having to go in there, and maybe we had a gin and tonic while we were there, and
that's patience of a saint, I feel.
Oh yeah, what a guy!
Bartenders on a trip. That's
at a distillery in Kentucky, having been bussed up there, and you roll out and you're all pumped to be at the distillery, and the grounds there. I stress this every time they talk about Castle and Key, just how beautiful the grounds are there.
Absolutely. I've said a few times that honestly, even if they had an unpaid internship, I'd take it tomorrow. Although things being a little bit more trepidatious in the economy right now, maybe that's not something I should put out there so openly, but it is just a really lovely place to go and see. Unfortunately, it was lost to time for a little bit, and it got overgrown. It wasn't until 2011, 2012, when somebody was going through on a hiking trail and saw the buildings down there. They got it excavated, and it's now a protected site. Colonel E.H. Taylor, if you're familiar with that, bourbon out of Buffalo Trace, when we put out a rye now too. But that was his namesake distillery, his original foundation. It's still got his name across the side and everything.
The original home. He used to run people in through a train. He was a very eccentric man. He had like a Roman bathhouse there on site. Would bring people in very into European culture, and it shows. The castle that's at Castle and Key.
Well, and one of the things that they've been able to promote too, even while we're waiting on tours and full facility reopening, post virus and all this kind of stuff, is the fact that there is a park there on the grounds, and hopefully we'll be able to see that opening before maybe a full distillery tour, is being able to use the park there where the train station is and sit in the gazebo next to the limestone well shaped like the keyhole, and you can sit there in the gardens, admire the flowers, maybe get a cocktail from the train station there. It is a cocktail bar now. We always support those. But yeah, so let's dig into this gin.
Right out of the gate, the nose on the gin, it smells like whenever I was a young man, like at a fall festival. Like I just got done like bobbing for apples, and there was like cinnamon pie or like derby pie, or I know a lot of people don't like ever just sit around and drink gin neat. Like it's more of like a cocktail thing.
Usually, but it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
I think everybody's had that bad experience with some spirit, and honestly, here in the library, we get that a lot. Of somebody comes in and say, I trust you guys, make me something with anything except for gin. I don't like gin.
I'm not a big gin drinker.
And there's a lot to be said for it. Unfortunately, people have had bad experiences with things out of plastic bottles, and these come in lovely, lovely glass bottles. These are handcrafted and blended.
And they're very affordable. That's the thing. A lot of like craft distilleries show up on the scene, and they're like, man, we just spent a lot of money making everything happen. We need to recoup our funds immediately, and they start charging $50, $60 dollars a bottle for whiskey that has not sat in oak long enough. They just make a gin because, they just make a vodka because. Castle and Key made a gin and a vodka, and they made a couple of seasonal gins. All of them are great, and they're all affordable. They're all right in that like 30-ish per retail bottle.
And I know one thing that I'm sure Brett will tell you. You tune in with the Q&A that we have coming up at 9. We've talked to him a few times about going through and doing these different blends, because gin, has to be, number one ingredient has to be juniper berries by volume. That's the thing that they infuse into the ethanol itself. Otherwise, without that, it's sort of like a flavored vodka. So they have to put those juniper berries in, but that doesn't mean that it's got that classic pine sol horridness that a whole lot of people associate with this category, unfortunately. And they go through and they can add in other botanicals behind that. It just can't be more mass than the juniper berries. And so there's so much leeway, so many things to play with. And
the rosemary and the restoration. I mean, I love playing off the rosemary note.
Well, and the lemon verbena, I feel, really shines through, and that's one thing why I love using it for citrusy things like the last word. But these guys have also talked about going through and trying to do a blend, putting in different botanicals, and then it not really working out. And so rather than just pushing that on the public and saying, here, pay me for this so we can still make a profit and we'll see what else happens, they said, no, this isn't really up to our spec. And that's something I feel that's really admirable in a spirits company too, is you can enjoy and feel happy to recommend what they actually sell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great company, and one of the things I really appreciate about them, I mean, you can see on their labels, they list everything they put in, and the ratios and everything else, and as Brett will be happy to tell you, if you think you can make gin better, if you think you can make spirits better than Castle and Key, they tell you, go ahead, absolutely, give it your best shot. And just that transparency is amazing in the world that we live in today with so many brands. I mean, there's so many brands that do sourcing, and there's nothing wrong with sourcing.
No, but I feel like it gets too competitive.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you just want to put everything out and say, we do this the way that we do it, I find that really respectable. I'll go ahead and close it out unless you have anything else to say, Josh.
No, I mean, we've said it 18,000 times already, but one more time. Thanks again for tuning in. This has really been a pleasure. This is something that we really enjoy, and so getting to do this while we're on restricted seating and hours and all this, it's a whole lot of fun. We are shut down for the in-person class tonight, but honestly, that's the only sort of thing that really takes us out of the game. That, or if you want to have a private event, got people you can talk to for that as well here in the Peter Kern Library. Otherwise, we're open every single day of the year, so even with restricted capacity, please do come by and see us, and
just
look
whenever you
forward
feel
to doing more
comfortable.
of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we just spent like the last couple minutes shouting out Castle and Key, so we won't, give you guys any more with Castle and Key. But I know that I mentioned it before. I'd like to mention it again. Being able to donate some of our proceeds to the Women's Foundation of Knoxville here, just really great. We're really happy that we got to put some of that money back into our community. And additional to that, if you guys would like more information, there will be a link on our social media. Be sure to check them out. It's an amazing foundation. And all in all, you guys have these little cards that have your cocktail specs on them. But additional to that, there is also a tip for you. We have our passcode to get into the Peter Kern Library. So if you do decide to come down,
Brand new thing, yep.
you'll be in the know. You'll know 1835.
It will be a 4-digit password from now
Always
on.
4 digits.
It doesn't mean it's going to stay on that one though, so you're
And
good for
then-
right now.
If you so choose to, we're greatly appreciative. Josh and I's Venmos are both listed on the same card. If you feel so inclined to tip your bartender, it's, as I said, greatly appreciative. And additional as a tip for you guys, there's a Royale postcard inside of your kit as well. Fill this out, send it back to us. As Josh mentioned, we often will do private events. There's a private cocktail class in there for one of you that does choose to fill it out, send it back to us. And we'll give you a private class for you and one other person. So a nice little 2 intimate person class.
Yeah, fully customizable. Really hope you enjoyed these 2 cocktails tonight. If they weren't your thing, you're gonna come in person, we go off of whatever specs that you have, whatever preferences that you have. So
Yeah, we'll make you whatever you want. I mean, absolutely. Don't forget, please stay tuned. Josh and I, Q&A online. Brett Connors, Castle and Key Ambassador, the nicest guy, the best of beards. Thanks again, guys. Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to be able to do this with y'all, and to have the support from you guys it's monumental. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Cheers.